I want to set this man on fire. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Read, Share, Repeat, where we discuss books from the perspective of an aspiring fantasy author. Me, Carrie Share. And today I am bringing you another reading vlog, and not just any reading vlog, a reading vlog for my very first read-a-thon that I am participating in. Yes, despite having lurked in the comments and videos of many booktubers, I have never actually participated in a ongoing read-a-thon, partially because I've been afraid to commit to something that I feel certain I don't have the time for, and also I do tend to stumble on them late, or the prompts don't really speak to me, or my TBR is too rigid. Whatever the case may be, read-a-thons have not been something that I've been able to participate in for whatever reason. And that changes this week. I am making a concentrated effort to participate in a community read-a-thon hosted by Nerdy Nat Reads on her Patreon. So I'm not going to go into the details of the read-a-thon itself. You will just have to join Nat's Patreon for all of that. But I will tell you that the read-a-thon is one week long, and there are 4 prompts. And because I have never seen a challenge that I know I am incapable of completing and not tried to complete it anyway, so I have picked 4 different books to fulfill these 4 different prompts, and those are the books I will be attempting to read throughout this week. I don't think I'll be able to read 4 books in a week. I did read 6, or at least complete 6, some of which I had already started in February, but bear in mind I was on vacation and I did not have my children, and that is not the case this week. What I do have going for me is that I don't have school, so I will have more evening time and a little bit more free time this week to focus on it, which is why I thought it was perfect that I couldn't not participate. So 4 prompts. Like I said, for the details, you can go over to Nerdy Nat Reads channel and check out her Patreon. But the books I have chosen for this readathon, first up, I'll be reading Sorcery and Small Magics by Maiga Ducey. And this is a queer romantasy about 2 young sorcerers who are somehow bound, or something goes wrong with a spell, and they have to go on some kind of journey or do some sort of quest to figure out how to unbind themselves from one another, and romantic shenanigans afoot, I am sure. This is my very beautiful Fairy Loot edition. Oh my gosh. And I believe there's some sort of like music related magic. The main character, I believe, plays a violin. I don't know how that relates to the magic, but it's, you know, it's got the violin here. This is a fairly short one. It's just over 350 pages. I think I can knock this out within 2 days for sure. And I only say 2 days because I have quite a bit going on today and I can't just sit down and read the whole thing. I don't think. So that is the first book. The second book I will be reading for this readathon is Iron Widow by Shirin J. Zhao. And this, of course, is a YA fantasy that's been compared to Pacific Rim. They've got these huge mecha that are being piloted by men and women, but the women are like more or less sacrifices for the men to have power. And the main character's sister is one of these sacrifices, and so the main character goes on this quest for revenge. I'm not a big YA person, as you all know by now, but this one has been on my radar for a while, and I think it is time to finally take it up and see what it is all about. The next book that I will be attempting to read is The Wild Huntress by Emily Lloyd-Jones, and this kind of fits in perfectly, not just with the readathon, but also because it was part of my April TBR, so it does need to get done, and my loan is running out anyway, so it just works out perfectly. I believe this is another YA romantasy, or maybe it is new adult romantasy about like a great hunt of a magical creature of some kind, and our main character is attempting to win this hunt so that she can earn a favor or some sort of magical something, and of course she is met with opposition of others who want to complete the hunt themselves and earn that favor or whatever it is. So looking forward to that one as well. And then finally, the last book that I will be picking up is The Golden Enclaves by Naomi Novik, and I'm very, very excited about this one. This has been kind of hovering at the back of my mind to pick up since I finished The Last Graduate in January. As you guys probably know by now, this series really took me by surprise with how much I liked it. Again, as I have said a bunch of times already, I don't really jive with YA normally, but this one just felt different to me from other YA books of its ilk, and really took me by surprise with how much I really enjoyed the main character, really enjoyed her journey and her perspective and her growth. This might be the fastest I read an entire trilogy, because I started it in like August and it is April, and I will have read all 3 books in 8 months. Well, it'll be May probably by the time I finish it, but still pretty fast. And I am currently in the middle of Holy Sister by Mark Lawrence, and I started reading that series in 2018 to give you kind of an idea of how much I tend to avoid reading series. That just speaks to how much I've really enjoyed this story. So like I said, really, really looking forward to it. I gave A Deadly Education 4 stars, and I gave The Last Graduate 4.5 stars. So I'm hoping and praying that this one sends it home. Those are the 4 books that I'll be reading for this readathon. I'm going to be starting with Sorcery and Small Magics, and then probably picking up Iron Widow just to kind of break up the romantasy a little bit, and then moving on to Wild Huntress and finishing out with Golden Enclaves. So today is Sunday, April 27th. The readathon will be going until May 3rd, and this is really going to test my ability to see how much I can prioritize reading and how much I can actually read in 1 week. In the past, 2 books a week seems to be my absolute maximum, and that's when I'm like really concentrating on reading. 4 books is a big ask, but not impossible. So I'm gonna sit down right now and get started on Sorcery and Small Magics, and I will check in with you as we go along. Hey y'all, it is much later. I did not get as much reading as I had kind of hoped to today. I was kind of hoping to get to the 25% mark of Sorcery and Small Magics. I don't know why I want to say a Sorcery and Small Magics, but I do. Anyway, but I did end up getting to the 20% mark. And unfortunately, I'm a little bit struggling. I'm struggling just a little bit because I'm not having a good time with the main character of this book. I don't even know what his damn name is. Oh, Leo. Because in my opinion, Leo is a little bit of a bully, especially towards the person who is supposed to be his love interest later on. And I imagine that that's part of the charm for some people. It is definitely a major turnoff for me. He talks repeatedly in his narration how he delights in pissing off this person, and how he will deliberately say and do things to make him flustered or make him annoyed or make him angry, and that he delights in these things, and it makes him, gives him a sense of satisfaction and joy to trick him into using charms that'll make his hair pink, and how he is delighted that this other person is too proud and had to forcibly do a counter charm so that his hair wouldn't be pink. And it's just like, that's bullying behavior. And then you take all of that, like his in narration, like his internal monologue or his internal thoughts about doing these things, and then you add in the context of Leo is a noble and a legacy student to this magical university, and the subject of his bullying is a scholarship student who does not come from any sort of influence and is kind of considered a prodigy but has no connections. And Leo actually uses that fact in some of the bullying behavior, and it just really becomes clear that this is a bully. You are bullying this man. It's not really addressed, and already in this story we've learned that the other character, Sebastian, has some sort of learning disability. I assume it's something like dyslexia, where he has trouble reading, and within 2 scenes Leo already used that as an insult and never actually apologized. And he was like, oh, I feel bad, but he didn't actually say sorry or do anything to be like, oh, I didn't mean it. And he does it with other characters too, where he uses pain points when they're arguing, and it's like his apologies feel so half-assed, and he's always like, oh, why do I do this? Why do I always lean on these pressure points to hurt people when I'm losing an argument? Oh, woe is me, I feel so bad. But he can't really feel that bad. So I'm having a really hard time. I do not like this man at all. I'm just really struggling with why I should give a damn about him. He has now accidentally magically bound himself to this other character, and the magic that was accidentally cast to do this is illegal, and so he keeps threatening Sebastian, who was the one that actually cast the spell, to expose him and get him in trouble, even though neither of them really knew what was happening, and he knows that. but he's still like holding it over his head like, well, if you don't help me fix this, or if you don't do what I say, then I will tell on you and you'll get in trouble. It's so gross. It is so gross. I'm really having a hard time understanding why I should be rooting for this character or the eventual romance. Big yikes. The good news is that the font is enormous and it's only 370 pages, and I could probably finish this tonight if I really wanted to. Unfortunately, A, I don't want to that much, and B, I do have other work to be doing. So my cat's like, let me in. I am going to take a little break. I'm going to get some writing done, getting up some laundry started. It is at the end of Sunday night, so I probably won't get too much more read. I would like to get to the 75% mark, which is like another 30 pages before the end of the night, and then hopefully finish it tomorrow or Tuesday. That's my update. Not a great start to this read-a-thon, but it is easy to read. It's going very quickly, and I'm just trying not to like invest too much energy in it, because I just know if I do, then I'll just be super disappointed. But yeah, I'm already not loving it, unfortunately, despite how pretty the actual book itself is. So I'll check in with you probably tomorrow and let you know any additional thoughts. Hey y'all, it is actually now Tuesday evening, and I have sort of forgotten that I'm supposed to be updating you on my reading progress. So quickly before I go to bed, here's the update. I am now just past the 50% mark of Sorcery and Small Magics, and unfortunately I'm still not really loving this. The main character is still really insufferable and really just kind of a douche and a bully to his love interest. I also think that the pacing has been very strange in this book. The real thrust of the plot didn't get started until like 45%. So now I'm finally into what I think is the more interesting part of the story, and the relentless bullying has kind of eased off just a little bit. So I do plan on finishing this book, but unfortunately this is gonna probably end my streak of 3.5 star rating books and higher that I've had going in the month of April. Unfortunately, it's just, I'm not liking it. I don't like the main character, and the pacing has just not been great either. So that is that one. And then yesterday I started, and today I continued with Iron Widow by, this is gonna trip me up every single fucking time, Sharon J. Zhao. And I'm liking that one, but I do feel sort of like neutral about it. I definitely liking it more than this one. I don't really have strong feelings about it either way. I like the main character. Things are just moving very, very quickly, which is pretty part and parcel for YA. I'm just about to the 28% mark, almost 30%. I'm liking that one okay, and that's really all I have. I guess that's why I haven't really updated yet, because I haven't really had much to say, but that's where I'm at. Tomorrow, I probably will not get much reading done. It is the last day of the month, which is my busiest time at my job. And then in the evening, I will be going to a baseball game with my mother. It is another one of our big package of tickets, so I'm looking forward to that. So I don't know that I'll update tomorrow. Maybe I'll just update every other day for this vlog, but I'll try and take some videos of us at the ballpark in exchange. How about that? Hey y'all, just checking in with my final, yes, unfortunately, final update of this read-a-thon reading vlog. It is now Saturday night, and I have only managed to finish one book. Unfortunately, this week has just been kind of an up and down week in terms of just like personal stuff going on and stuff going on at work and other obligations, and it unfortunately just kind of sucked the mood out of me to read. But I did manage to finish Sorcery and Small Magics by Micah Ducey. Unfortunately, I didn't like it. I didn't really like it at all, and that it can all be traced back to the main character being a bully and a douchebag to his love interest. And I'm really annoyed by that because this book contains one of my most very favorite tropes in terms of like magical bonds between people, forcing them to question whether or not the feelings they're developing are real or because of the bond, and that is heavily featured towards the end of this book. And I wanted to like it, but the problem is that Leo, the main character, the POV character, is so unlikable to me. So unlikable. He is extremely selfish. He's extremely self-centered. If anything doesn't go exactly his way, he literally throws a tantrum until he gets his way and acts offended and like the whole world is against him. If anyone even reacts negatively to what he wants and what he demands and his tantrums. And it was so irritating. Not just irritating, but like I could not fathom why this would be a romance. Yes, the curse is creating like feelings in him for the other character. Again, I like that part, but because of like the bullying and his personality being that of like just a shit disturber, he's the kind of person who purposefully finds like your pain point and presses at it just because it amuses him. I just did not find his personality to be the kind of person who would like someone like the love interest. And so it made it really hard for me to buy that the feelings were genuine by the end. So it kind of ruined one of my favorite tropes for me. And that's really all it comes down to. I just could not get behind the main character at all, even all the way up until the very end, where in his internal like narration, he's thinking about like, oh, I would have mocked the other character for X, Y, or Z, but I was too tired to do so. And it's just like, really, like, even after everything that y'all have been through, and even though you supposedly have genuine feelings for him, your expression of this is to literally to just press in on him and like find something to bother him about. And it's just, I hate that. I hate that. I want to set this man on fire. Yeah, so unfortunately I didn't like it. I'm probably going to give it 1.5 stars, and that 0.5 is mostly because it was a very fast read. Even though it took me all week to read, it wasn't because it was dense. It was very readable. It was just very easy to get through. And there were some elements that I liked, but like the magic system was so poorly explained. The reason why Leo can even write music magic, never explained, never talked about if anyone else has done this before, or or if he had heard about it before and that's why he tried it, or if he just came up with it or what. Very poorly explained. The quest into the forest was interesting, but I just don't think we lingered enough in it. I think I mentioned in one of my updates that it took like 45% just to get into the interesting part of being in the forest, which I did like, but there just wasn't enough of it. It took too long to get to the point. And again, all of that told through the perspective of someone who is a bully and is very like, oh, I'm just that way. I love annoying him. It's just my way. And being drunk all the time. And even like his like tragic backstory, I don't really feel really justified his personality. It kind of justified some of the trauma things that was part of his story, but not his personality, which was just insufferable and annoying. And I mean, the love interest would be, I think, in the right to punch him in the face instead of like giving in at any point to any sort of romantic feelings. So I didn't like it. Very beautiful Fairy Loot edition will be probably going on Pango shortly. I managed to also get to the 28% mark of Iron Widow, but again, just with everything else going on, I wasn't really feeling like reading very much. While I am liking it, I'm just not drawn by it. I do have to finish it probably this coming week so it can go back to the library. I had gotten out ahead of my library reads, and then this week put me back behind the 8 ball again. But all told, I read one book and I've gotten to about the 30% mark of another, and that is unfortunately all I was able to do for this read-a-thon. That being said, I am not deterred from participating in read-a-thons again. It was really nice to be in part of that group that was participating and talking about our choices and the things that we were reading. So definitely looking forward to doing more in the future, even though this one wasn't as productive as I hoped. So With that, thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it. If you like my content and want to support the channel, please like and subscribe or consider leaving a comment down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave me a music note for Sorcery and Small Magics. I don't know what I have next for you. What do I have next for you? I haven't completed my content calendar for the rest of May just yet, so I don't know what I have next for you, but I hope you look forward to it, and I will see you then. Bye!